Today on the Global AI Policy Podcast, we are diving into another thought-provoking article by tech publicist and policy analyst Anita S. The title of the piece we're discussing today is Will Autonomous Vehicle Infrastructure Reshape America's Cities? And this piece, it really grabbed my attention. Anita has this remarkable way of looking past the shiny promises of new tech. She asks the really crucial questions, sometimes the uncomfortable ones. So our mission today is to unpack what these new autonomous vehicle or AV Giga Hubs actually mean for urban life, and really for you living in our cities.
It's such a vital discussion, and what I find particularly insightful about Anita's article is how she frames that core tension. On one hand, yeah, you've got these compelling benefits, AV infrastructure, efficiency, cleaner air, maybe less traffic. But then she immediately dives into the complexities, the things often overlooked, implications for like the city's fabric, public space, the actual residents. It really pushes us to think critically, not just what can we do with tech, but what should we do? And importantly, who benefits? Who might lose out?
Exactly. That who benefits question is key.
Yeah.
And the main example the author uses is INFRA's AV Giga Hubs, specifically their plans for Los Angeles. Now, when we say Giga Hubs, we're not just talking about big parking lots with chargers.
No, not at all. These are envisioned as comprehensive centers, almost like mini cities just for AVs, designed for ultra-fast charging, AI managing the fleets, even automated maintenance, all under one roof.
Right. And the article mentions the obvious benefits. Cleaner air, less congestion, this tech-driven efficiency. Sounds great on the surface.
It does.
But like we said, Anita pushes us to ask those deeper questions about the future these hubs might actually create. Okay, so let's start with something everyone understands, traffic. Especially, in a city like Los Angeles. Anyone who's driven there knows the pain. There's this INRAX Global Traffic Scorecard, pretty reputable source. It says LA commuters spend on average 95 hours a year stuck in traffic. 95 hours.
Wow, that's
over 2 full work weeks just sitting there.
Yeah.
So proponents argue that fleet-based automation, AVs, could drastically cut that down by, eliminating human errors, which cause a lot of accidents and jams, and optimizing routes constantly.
And that's precisely the vision behind NFRA's Giga Hubs. The article details how their super fast charging cuts downtime. So more AVs are actually moving people, not just sitting charging. Combine that with sophisticated AI routing systems, the goal is smoother, faster traffic flow, less bottlenecks. And this isn't just theory. McKinsey, they forecast that by 2030, maybe up to 15% of new cars sold globally could be fully autonomous.
15%.
That's significant integration.
It's potentially huge, but, and this is where Anita brings in that crucial counterpoint. It makes you stop and think. She emphasizes that integrating AVs isn't just about speed, it's fundamentally about space, how we use urban land, what its function and purpose is.
Space.
Yeah.
These Giga Hubs, the charging stations, the maintenance depots, they need a lot of land, significant tracts, which immediately raises tough questions. Zoning laws. What about displacement of existing communities or businesses? And how does this compete with other needs like, affordable housing, green space? These are huge priorities too.
Right. It's a real tension, isn't it? Technology versus other deeply felt urban needs. Every square foot is valuable. Okay, let's shift focus slightly. What about the environmental promises? That's always a big selling point. The article highlights electric AVs, especially in shared fleets, producing fewer emissions than, our current gas guzzlers. INMFR says its hubs will support LA's sustainability goals. Help clear up that smog. Seems like a clear win, doesn't it?
On the face of it, absolutely. And the need is critical. The IEA, the International Energy Agency, the state transportation causes about 24% of global CO2 emissions, and road vehicles, nearly 3/4 of that. So yeah, electrification plus smart routing, it could have a massive positive impact on air quality.
Could. Okay.
But here's Anita's nuance again. She says, the environmental equation is not so simple. She pushes us to look at the whole life cycle. Building these huge hubs takes concrete, steel, energy. That all has a carbon footprint.
The construction phase.
Exactly. And then operating them. Those high-speed chargers, the AI servers running the fleets, they consume enormous amounts of electricity. And here's the kicker. If that electricity isn't coming from clean, renewable sources...
Well, you're undermining the whole point.
Precisely. You might just be shifting the environmental burden, not eliminating it. Plus, think about the strain on the existing power grid.
So is it really a net gain? That's the question we have to ask.
That's the critical question Anita raises. It forces a much broader view than just tailpipe emissions.
Okay, a really vital distinction. Let's pivot again, this time to the economy. Jobs. New tech often promises job creation. The article mentions INFRA's hubs creating roles in maintenance, engineering, software monitoring. Sounds good. And the World Economic Forum suggested tens of thousands of global AV-related jobs could emerge. That feels like a boost.
It certainly could be. New high-skilled jobs are a definite possibility. But Anita immediately flags the other side. Automation displacement. This is really crucial from a policy angle. Think about it. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says there are over 3.5 million professional truck drivers in the U.S. alone.
Wow, 3.5 million.
And that's just one category. As AV fleets expand into logistics, delivery, taxis, many existing jobs, especially those entry-level ones, could face serious attrition.
The classic disruption scenario.
Exactly. But with a very real human cost if we don't manage it proactively. And this leads Anita to ask those direct, maybe uncomfortable questions for policymakers, like, will these new jobs need totally different skills, higher level skills?
Probably.
And who's going to train the current workforce for that? Who pays for the reskilling? Her core point is that equity in this transition isn't automatic. It's not guaranteed. We can't just assume the market will sort it out fairly. Communities shouldn't be left behind for the sake of efficiency.
It's a call for planning ahead, isn't it? Not just reacting after the fact.
A very strong call for proactive planning.
Okay, that fairness aspect is huge. Now, thinking about planning, the author calls reshaping urban space perhaps the most transformative aspect. And the vision is compelling. Fewer people owning cars means less need for parking lots. You mentioned LA, that study saying 14% of its land is parking. That's staggering.
It's immense, roughly 100 square miles.
Imagine reclaiming even some of that for housing, parks, bike lanes. You could literally reshape neighborhoods.
It's an incredibly exciting possibility for urban renewal, for making cities greener, more people-focused. But true to form, Anita presents the flip side, the potential problem of zombie vehicles.
Zombie vehicles. So just explain that.
It's the idea of empty AVs driving around.
Oh.
After dropping someone off, maybe they reposition for the next ride or head back to a hub, driving around with no passengers.
Ah, okay. So increasing traffic volume, potentially?
Potentially, yes. But also, think about the wasted energy, the extra wear and tear on roads, and ironically, needing more space somewhere, maybe on the edges of the city, just to store these idle fleets when they aren't needed.
So a solution creates a new problem.
It can happen. It highlights that planners need a really delicate touch here. You can't just drop AV infrastructure onto cities. It needs careful integration with pedestrian zones, public transit, bike lanes, to avoid making cities less livable, not more. It has to serve people, not just the vehicles themselves.
Designing for people first. That seems like a good principle. Which brings us to maybe the most provocative question in the article. Anita asks, who actually wants fleets of self-driving vehicles dominating city streets? It's pointed because, as she notes, this push isn't really coming from, like, massive public demand.
No, it's largely driven by tech companies, by venture capital, by innovators, often with quite limited public consultation. And the concern the author raises is that cities might end up being redesigned for algorithms, for fleet efficiency, rather than for the actual messy, diverse needs of the people living there. It's a question of urban democracy, really.
Yeah, who gets to decide what the future city looks like?
Exactly. And it's not just a feeling. There's data. Anita cites a 2023 Pew Research Survey. It found only 26% of U.S. adults would feel comfortable riding in a self-driving car. 26%.
It's low, really low.
It's very low. It shows public appetite, or at least comfort level, isn't quite there yet, which strongly backs up the author's argument. For AV infrastructure to genuinely serve the public good, community voices have to be central. It needs to be collaborative, not just tech imposed from the top down.
A powerful point.
Yeah.
Acceptance is just as important as the tech itself.
Oh.
Okay, so bringing this all together, ANFRA's AV Giga Hubs, they offer this glimpse into a future that, yes, promises to be faster, cleaner, smarter. The tech is impressive.
It is. But the core message from Anita, and maybe our key takeaway, is that as we race toward this future, we absolutely must pause. We have to ask those hard questions. Who really benefits? What might we lose? Jobs, public space, community character, and how do we ensure this technology enhances our cities, enhances the lives of people rather than eroding them?
Enhances, not erodes. That's the goal.
That has to be the goal. The promise of AVs is real. The potential is there. But as Anita concludes so well, that promise needs thoughtful planning. It needs inclusive dialogue. It needs strong public policy. And I love her final reminder. Cities aren't just networks of roads. They're living spaces filled with individuals, children, and families. Let's make sure they stay that way.
A really powerful thought to end on. How do we keep cities human-centered amidst all this tech.
That's the challenge for all of us, I think.
Thanks for sharing this piece with us, Anita. And to our listening audience, thank you for joining us today, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Until next time.